Well, a good morning to you and welcome to our Daily Timothy Time. It's Monday, the 26th of October 2020, and it's week 44. I'm Carl. I'm from Pure Bible Study here in Trondheim in Norway. And if you've been following in the Pauline read, we've got to Ephesians chapter 4 through 6 today for today's read. And if you're reading through the Bible, Numbers 18 to 20. Right, we're coming to a new section in Bible Timeline part 34 today. Enter John the Baptist. Okay, so we've got John the Baptist on the scene. You can see on the timeline where he is. And before we actually deal with John in particular, I need to lay the table for those of you that are not familiar with what happened just prior to John the Baptist. And today I want to take you on a little walk through the history books, and we're going to look at what the Protestant movement called the intertestamental period. Now you're probably thinking, crumbs, what on earth is that? Simply put, it's the time period between the book of Malachi in the Old Testament that we know of, and the book of Matthew that we know of in our Bible today. Okay. There was a period from between Malachi and Matthew. There's a period of ballpark, very, very close to 400 years. Now, the beauty about understanding this little section is the beauty of it is it causes you to study the Bible, and the Bible starts to make sense when you start putting the puzzle pieces together. What do I mean by that? Well, if you go back to the book of Daniel and you read Nebuchadnezzar's dream, if you understand that dream, well, a large part of that dream, that image that he sees, happens and comes to play within that intertestamental period between the book of Malachi and Matthew. If you go to Daniel chapter 8, and you read in through there, we don't have time to cover that all right now, but go and read it. And what you read in Daniel chapter 8 comes into play in the world as we know it, in this 400-year silence of God. And for example, you've got Alexander the Great comes on the scene in 334 to 331 BC, and then a little bit later after that, the Romans come and squash the Greeks, and they kind of take control of Palestine in roughly, I think it was about 63 BC. So it's a very interesting thing to understand and to see Bible truth that we read about when it actually took place, And one thing we got to remember is, in this section, in this, during the time of Malachi and previous, right up until today, actually. Well, today everything's on hold. We're in a time of we're in an unprophesied time now. But if you look at the prophecy program, when you're dealing in Malachi, they're under the fifth course of chastisement. And, with Media Persia governing over Israel at the time. And so it's pretty much, it's a time of Gentile oppression. Now, I say all of this to you to lead into what we're going to cover tomorrow. I wish we did have the time to really dig this out. But go give Daniel chapter 2 a read and Daniel chapter 8, and then fit them into this timeline. And if you look at the history books too, if you go to the secular books and look at when Greece came about and when Rome came about, in Palestine and that zone down there, it all fits in. It fits like a glove, and it's the most amazing thing. And so today, all I wanted to do was introduce you to the intertestamental period, the 400 years where God went silent, and that's between the books of Malachi and Matthew. Tomorrow we're gonna have a look at some really, really interesting stuff. Again, still leading up to that man, John the Baptist, but we need to understand some things before we speak about him. My time's up. Have a fantastic day. Until we meet again tomorrow. Maranatha.